So if the Congress could hold in defiance of the court order,
and in the first case, we said we are obeying.
You are obeying the court order.
So you take the ones that
you obey the court order in one breath. In the other breath, the Congress still goes on. I mean, there's a word that they use in contempt of the court order. I may be wrong, but that's what I think about.
It's getting more complicated.
Because the court order is very clear. It's written.
It's written.
Not in Arabic. And the Congress, the Congress was also involved.
The second defendant clearly mentioned it as Alhaji Aminu Megere, and it is for himself, on behalf of all the purported members of the executive committee, and Congress of the Nigerian Football Association and the Nigerian Football Federation.
Which rules out everybody that gathered on Saturday.
I mean, if you are a state, you rules out everybody who is a member of the Congress. That is what I think from my own layman interpretation of what has happened. But that Congress was still able to meet in spite of this court order, which was used in announcing the appointment of an acting Secretary General and in announcing that Aminu Megere and his brother has been sacked. So for me, that also needs a little bit of clarification from maybe legal minds in football circles who can explain it for us. For me, it looks, I need more education on that, really.
Okay, so I'll come to you on this one. I mean, you've always been going through the good book. Now, the good book in this case.
I've gone through it twice since Friday.
The good book.
The NFF statutes.
Yes. Let's look through it and also shed more light on some of the things that could probably be a time bomb waiting to explode.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing this issue of the court order, maybe there's an explanation for why the Congress still went on.
In spite of the violations,
of the ruling, in spite of whatever we think
is wrong.
Maybe there's an explanation that could explain why the Congress still went on. I mean, the next thing to do is, what does the NFF statute say about a General Assembly? And
how clear is it?
Yeah, how clear? What is the position of the NFF? What is the position of the statutes of FIFA and the NFF on how a General Assembly is called? And I'm sure we'll get to that as we go on. But I went through it and I saw that the relevant article that deals with General Assembly in the NFF statute is Article 21. So if you go to NFF statute, that's it on your screen, Article 21.
And it's there for everybody
General
to see.
Assembly.
Yeah.
Article 21 and Article 22. Article 21, definition and composition of General Assembly. That's what you're seeing on your screen. Take a look at the number 3. The number 3, I mean, thank you, is there on your screen, staying there on your screen.
That's the sticking point.
That's the sticking point. The President shall conduct the General Assembly business in compliance with the standing order. Okay, let me read from the beginning again. The General Assembly is the meeting of all the members of NFF, regularly convened. It represents the supreme legislative authority of the NFF. Only a General Assembly that is regularly convened has the authority to make decisions. A General Assembly may be ordinary or extraordinary. What we had on Saturday was an extraordinary General Assembly.
Okay.
The President, that's clearly, the President shall conduct the General Assembly. The President is Aminu Megere. Was it the one that conducted the General Assembly that we had on Saturday? That's another question that you need to answer. These are the things that you need to defend yourself against when you approach FIFA. The General Assembly may appoint observers. Usually they do it by bringing people from the sports ministry, but other things. But where the sports minister addresses and kicks off a General Assembly, and some other persons apart from the President does it, you leave loopholes that people can exploit
FIFA
to make nonsense of whatever you've done.
Doesn't want to. But staying with that, is there any explanation that could hold water if, for instance, the President wasn't there and all those decisions were made, and those decisions, we expect those decisions to be binding? Is there any explanation?
Well, the people who convened this, the Extraordinary Congress on Saturday, said that, according to them, I don't know where they got their own status, that 9 members can convene, an AGM, and that it was duly convened, and that out of the 44, 34, were present, and it formed the quorum. But according to the statutes that we have seen, if the President, fails to convene, and about 7 members, have applied for him to convene and he refuses, they can give him a reminder after 2 weeks.
Send him a notice.
Send him a notice. After 2 weeks, then they can go ahead and convene a Congress. Since the President, after due process, has refused to convene.
Just to buttress what he's saying, what he is saying in essence is this: if the president of a federation becomes unpopular and doesn't want to convene a General Assembly, knowing that
What could happen?
it could be impeached or sacked, FIFA has made a provision. What you do is that 6 or 7 of you will write him, convene a General Assembly, convene an extraordinary General Assembly.
All right.
Then you send him the notice. 2 weeks after that, if he doesn't reply, then you can send another letter to the Secretariat of the NFF that, look,
This is what is going to
we
happen.
have sent a notice, just like notice of impeachment. It's the same procedure. You send a notice of impeachment, and then you follow up. Not that you just come and you say, we are doing it tomorrow,
And it stands.
and it stands. You have to send a notice of impeachment 2
Okay.
weeks after,
All right.
you can have your meeting.
Tony, in the light of all of this now, let me put you on the spot now. Was due process followed? In light of everything we have looked at, there's still so many other issues.
Like the
you said,
delegates. I mean, you can see on your screen those who are supposed to be delegates
that
to
should have been there.
That should have been there. General Assembly, 44 members, 2 delegates each, making 88. I mean, you can see it on your screen. 37 FA chairmen, referees will be there, the leagues will be there, players union will be there. Everybody together will be about 88 in number.
in attendance.
And the general secretary, okay, this time acting in this case, and executive committee members are also supposed to be there, although they don't have voting rights. But I'm told that about 2 of them or so,
Were
or
there.
3 of them were there. So I really hope that, because I'm told that we will try to get to FIFA and explain what we did on Saturday, I hope we are really able to convince FIFA that what we did on Saturday, I mean, find an explanation for what we did on Saturday, how we did it, and maybe convince FIFA by the time you show them the list of delegates and look, let them really know that maybe this government has become unpopular.
Okay.
And then maybe you can get away with what you've done.
Oh yeah, how close are we to incurring the wrath of FIFA? Because tomorrow
is the deadline.
deadline. So how close are we? And we have reasons to be worried. We have teams that will participate in competition. As a matter of fact, under 20 girls, if anything should happen, will be the first ones to be affected. But when you, don't let me take the words out of your mouth. How close are we to incurring the wrath of FIFA?
Well, I think FIFA by now should be tired of
Our politics.
Cases coming from
You know,
Nigeria.
it's so complex, and every time we get over it, this is not the first time. A precedent was set in 2006 when Alhaji Ibrahim Galadima was removed. In 2010, the same thing. The rules were bent, obviously. I think that's why some of the people, the board members who were removed this time, have not been able to say anything, because
And that's FIFA's letter to the NFF.
the same procedure brought them into office.
That's the letter that he was talking about from FIFA, saying that by Tuesday, tomorrow,
If this decision is not reversed,
and in that letter, they also talked about that Congress that was held. They even declared it null and void before it was held. So for me, I think, as Oye was saying before we came on air, it really depends on how we are able to convince FIFA that what we did on Saturday was the right thing to do. In the light of all what looked like breaches, I mean, to the layman like us,
Okay.
to those of us who are just reading the law, but there could be some explanation that they will be able to give. But if they are not able to do it, then it's going to be unfortunate. FIFA will just make a pronouncement.
Okay, if all of these decisions stand and we do not change it, Oye, is there any way under the sun that we could convince FIFA that, look, this is the way they were going and it's the right way, and FIFA will just allow us continue?
Well, we have done it in 2010. So, I mean,
In 2010.
we did it in 2010 when the same process,
Yes.
the same process removed Sani Lulu.
The meeting that was convened to impeach Lulu was supposed to have been called by Sani Lulu himself.
Absolutely.
But he wasn't the one that called
the
it.
one that called the meeting.
And he went to the Court of Arbitration for Sports to challenge it. He was going to win the case until it was prevailed upon to withdraw it.
Political solution.
And then he withdrew it somehow, political solution as you said, and then it went on. But for me, the worry is this. We just keep breaking the laws. We keep breaking the laws.
And we
keep
go
breaking
deeper
the laws.
each time. We go deeper each time. The issues.
But the defense that we always come up with, Onye, is that government is the biggest backer of sports in Nigeria. Government favors the candidate to get there.
You get there.
And when the government doesn't want the candidate again, I think there should be a smarter way of going about it without necessarily drawing attention to
Shouldn't
FIFA.
be too obvious.
We shouldn't always. That's what I think. That's my own thinking. I may be wrong, but I feel I mean, why, for example, will our girls be in Canada for the Under-20 World Cup and